Hello guys, welcome back to another video today. I've got game week 40 of the championship review for you. So yeah, second game week video in as many days, as there was a full roundup of fixtures, or 11 on Easter Monday. So yeah, I'll be going through them in this video. So starting off with the results and also what my predictions were previously. So yeah, Preston 0, Derby 1. I went for a 1-1 there. Bristol City lost home to Brentford. Burton drew to Borough. Ipswich drew to Millwall 2-2. Forest against Barnsley was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Which quite surprised me. QPR thumped Norwich. I went to that one. Let's not talk about that anymore. Sunderland lost home to Sheffield Wednesday. Sheffield United drew to Cardiff. And there were some games on the Tuesday as well. Villa beat Reading. Fulham beat Leeds. Wolves drew 2-2 to Hull. And Bolton lost at home to Birmingham. Yes, plenty to talk about. Starting with the game's early kick-off, it was between Preston and Derby, and looking at the statistics, Preston were all over them, but Derby managed to nick a goal in about the 50th minute, I think, and it was Tom Lawrence with a free kick. It was a decent one, and they got a much-needed win for them. That was their first win, I think, in 8 games, so crucial for them. It kept them in the playoff spots, whereas Preston missed a chance to move into the playoff spots. A dominant performance from Brentford yielded them a win to Bristol City, who've been struggling quite a lot this year, although they're still just a point outside the playoff places. Yeah, Brentford, looking at the stats, were all over them, and that was their first win in 4 games, so good for them. And home game against Ipswich for them next, whereas Bristol City travel to inform Millwall. Nearly a much-needed win for the Brewers, which would have been their first win in 15 home games, but Borough managed to get a late goal through Sombalonga and secure what could be a huge point for them. It kept them in the playoff places, and yeah, so you'd have thought Borough would have won it, and I had my money on Borough as well to win that, and they lost me, I think, 70 quid because of that, so yeah, thanks. Ipswich scored their first home goals in, I think, 2 months. I think they sort of run stretching back about 5 games, and they scored 2 in quick succession through Waghorn after Millwall took the lead earlier in the first half, and yeah, it brought an end to Millwall's run of 4 wins in a row, but their unbeaten run, which is stretched to 14 games now, I think, is still going. So there's no reason why Millwall can't take the playoffs, or make the playoffs, can't speak today, the way they're playing. But yeah, an entertaining game at Portman Road. Thumping win for QPR against Norwich, and as I said, yes, I went down to London to watch this game, and Norwich did take the lead through an own goal, but Rangers responded pretty much instantly and then scored 3 goals in the second half to seal a very convincing win. And yeah, they were much the better team, and although the result means nothing for either team, I guess it's a bit of momentum for QPR, and yeah, it just makes me want the season to end, really, in terms of Norwich. Sheffield Wednesday sealed a 3rd win on the spin, and this time it was at Sunderland, who, if you remember, won 4-1 at Derby on Friday night, so they couldn't get their momentum going, and yeah, it's a big shame for them, as this was a big chance for them to make some ground on the teams above them, but Birmingham then won, which made matters even worse, which means, yeah, Sunderland, it's pretty much on now or never for them. They need to beat Leeds next week. And as for Sheffield Wednesday, well, they can't really finish much higher than probably 14th, I'd say. But it's good that they're getting some wins at the end of the season, and you know, just putting aside any doubts there might have been for survival. A last gasp equaliser for Cardiff against Sheffield United, where Leon Clark scored his first goal in, I think, 14 matches. As for Sheffield United, well, a lot of draws in their form, you can see, but they're still well in place to make a playoff place if they win their last few games, and yeah, a trip to Barnsley for them next. As for Cardiff, well, they remain ahead of Fulham and do have a game in hand on Fulham as well, so for me they're looking pretty good for promotion, but a big game for them next as they host Wolves on Friday night. Moving on to Tuesday's games, then this one was between Aston Villa and Reading had Dave Edwards sent off in the first half, which made the job for Villa much easier. They comfortably won that 3-0 and sealed their first win in 4 games. And yes, I mean, as for Villa, I don't think they're going to have a chance of making automatic promotion now, but nevertheless, they're looking comfortable for a playoff place, and yeah, just have to see what happens there. And a trip to them, Norwich next for them, and as for Reading, it's a home game against Preston. Another win for Fulham. Well, actually, since I started making these videos, I haven't actually had a game where Fulham have lost, so I haven't ever had to put an L in their column. But yeah, their unbeaten run stretches back to mid-December, I think. Now, yeah, another comfortable win for them, it seemed, although Leeds did have a great chance at 1-1, or 1-0, sorry. And then Fulham went up the other end and scored, but how many times does that happen? So yeah, Fulham still keeping the pressure on Cardiff, as Cardiff did drop points, although the two sides do meet in a couple of weeks. But I'm still convinced that automatic promotion is probably just about out of reach for them. a good result for Hull and what could prove to be an important point in their survival bid, as you'll see at the end of the video. It's getting pretty tight now down the bottom, well, not too tight, but just between about 19th and 17th anyway. As for Wolves, well, they're pretty much nailed on for the title, so I think it's 2 more wins they need for the title, and Cardiff away for them next won't be easy, but would be some way to seal it. Final game, and one I said would be hugely significant in terms of the season, and it was Birmingham who managed to get the win, and Jutkiewicz scoring in the first half, although Bolton did have numerous penalty appeals turned down in the second half. But when you're down the bottom, you do need a bit of luck, and that's exactly what Birmingham got. And I mean, remarkable turnaround for them. I mean, I had them nailed on for relegation a few weeks ago. It shows what I know. And then 3 wins on the spin, and home game against Burton next, so they could well pretty much seal survival if they win that. But as for Bolton, just 1 point above Birmingham now, so if they're not careful, they may get dragged back into it to be a big result for Birmingham. Looking at our summary then, a result of the game we either gave to QPR for beating Norwich, coming from behind and winning 4-1, or Hull for getting a 2-2 draw at Wolves. Most important, I gave to Derby or Birmingham. Derby simply for the fact they ended that 8-game winless streak, and Birmingham because of the fact they beat Bolton, and that's huge in terms of the league table. Goal of the game week, not too many stunners this week. Bjarnason for Aston Villa, strike from outside the box into the top corner, got my vote. My predictions, not too bad either. 5 correct results with 3 exact scores. Promotion, Wolves and Cardiff I'm nailing on for automatics, and relegation I'm going for Burton and Sunderland, so that's probably not going to change over the much last few weeks, although to be fair with Birmingham it did. But yeah, that's game week 40 summary. Having a look at the table this week, not too much change in terms of places, but getting quite tight in some places. You can see that playoff picture, probably the one I'd highlight most. Fulham gained a couple of points on Cardiff, although Cardiff still got that game in hand. Although they do have a pretty tough fixture run, but I think they've got enough points, I'd say, maybe for them. 3 wins and a draw out of their last 7 games might actually be enough, to be fair, but you never know. Looking at that playoff picture, as I said then, 5th to 10th, just 5 points separate, and you can see how much of a big chance that was missed by Preston to climb a few places, but it's extremely, as I said, tight. But all those teams other than Derby dropped points, so there's actually opportunities for teams below, like Brentford who won, and it just frustrates me a bit, because if Norwich, the last couple of games, or last 5 or 6 games we've played teams below us, and if we'd have got a few more points out of that, we'd still be in the playoff picture, but the way we play, there's no way we deserve to be, I would say. So yeah, QPR a bit closer to Norwich now, than 2 points, and Sheffield Wednesday also getting up there, although after that not too much. And at the bottom, where it's not looking great for Sunderland, there's a massive win for Birmingham, and Sunderland are going to have to make up a lot of points over the next couple of weeks, and as will Burton and Barnsley, of course, had that game called off. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting last few weeks, that's for sure. And finally, looking to next week's fixtures then, game week 41, so that starts on the Friday with Cardiff taking on Wolves, and that's it's a pretty big game for both sides, although I think if Wolves win it, they're basically nailed on for the title, more than they already are, but if Cardiff win it, then pretty much the same. It doesn't really affect Wolves too much, although Cardiff, of course, could pip Wolves to the title if they get more points than them in the next couple of weeks. And a couple of early games, Barnsley play Sheffield United, Yorkshire Derby, and then Norwich play Villa. That's the TV game. Probably get smashed there. Not me, Norwich, or to be fair, I'll probably get smashed too. But Birmingham play Burton. That's a big game at the bottom of the table. I think Birmingham can pretty much seal Burton's fate if they win that. Same the other way around. And Brentford play Ipswich, Derby play Bolton, Hull play QPR, Leeds play Sunderland, Borough play Nottingham Forest, Millwall play Bristol City, a playoff game there. Reading play Preston, and Sheffield Wednesday play Fulham. So yeah, a couple of fixtures definitely to be looking out for there. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching the video as usual, or listening, or however you do. So only 6 more game weeks to go, so I will try and do a video for all of them if I can. But if I'm a bit stingent on time, I will let you know. But yeah, thanks for watching it again, and I'll see you next time.